Hey, dude. Here's your right white Russian.
Hey, cheers, big ears.
We're gonna have a great show today. If you come with me right around the corner here, I'll guide you to our green room.
Lead the way.
We're gonna take some live calls with you today. It's gonna be a great show.
Fantastic. Office, Jesus.
You said it, man. Nobody with the office, Jesus.
Hey, say hello to your mom for me. Real sweetheart.
It's movie day! We kick things off with the real-life inspiration behind the Big Lebowski's dude, Jeff Dowd. Then, we'll show you an array of movie toys courtesy of Sideshow collectibles that are actually more expensive than your house. And finally, we go directly to the source of the zombie movie craze, the legendary George Romero. Now, it's coming to get you, Barbara. It's Attack of the Show!
Big up on this.
We really gotta sit here and figure out who's gonna welcome the audience before every show. I'm like,
Sometimes I'm like, what will Kevin do?
hey, everybody!
Hi, everybody.
Happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's only Tuesday.
Otherwise known as
DV Tuesday.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't get to say that, and so I want to.
I don't. I
give you
appreciate
the
it.
opportunity.
It's fun. I like it. DV Tuesday. It is fun to say. I'm glad it caught
It's
on. Today is an entire day of pretty much movie stuff, movie-related things. It's a very movie-centric day.
It's a movie-centric day, although we always have our other.
Sure.
Our other little bones.
We'll
that we
have some
throw out to the
websites
audience.
and
There's
some eBay
websites.
auctions
There,
and-
it came from eBay's on Tuesday.
It is.
DV Tuesday.
But what's Brendan up to,
What is
Sarah?
Brendan up to? I don't know.
a good
Brendan,
question.
what are you up to?
Playing with my, speaking of movie day, my big Lebowski bowling shammy.
Nice.
Bowling.
Are you a bowler?
It keeps it dry. Actually, I'm not a bad bowler.
No?
No. I couldn't put any spin on it, but I can pretty much get it down, right down the
Straight
center.
ball?
Yeah.
Playing the lanes with the bumpers?
Yeah.
We should-
I'm better
we
at
should
the
go
drinking
bowling
beer
sometime.
part of bowling.
And the hot dogs?
Hot dogs.
Don't
You
have
don't.
beer
You
in the
don't
bowl?
eat hot dogs at a bowling alley. That's weird.
I was trying to relate to you guys, but again.
Don't tell me you don't bowl,
Yeah.
Pereira.
I do bowl. I'm good at bowling. I was in a league once.
You were?
Team 219.
Oh,
Harvest
my.
Lanes. Brentwood. What's up?
What's up?
Little shout out to my boys.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
for a
it.
little liquor.
All right.
What's going on the internet?
There was a website that we wanted to show off a couple days back. It's
Mm-hmm.
a fan site that's dedicated to helping the fans of Attack of the Show. The problem was
boy.
they were out of bandwidth and it was down, but it's back up and it has its own domain, aotsusercreated.com, and it's a fan site set up by Kat there. There's Kat.
Well, she's cute.
Kat's up on MySpace.
Hello, Kat.
Hi,
with a
Kat.
K.
Three-quarter perspective. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
So, there's the user-created page.
I love the picture she showed of me. I look like I'm
Well, that's
crying,
the
or
thing.
perhaps ate a lemon.
So
not,
she has-
not sure.
She has last week's winner there. which I think was her. So funny how that works out.
Okay.
But they have last week's winner. They have this week's assignment. They have tutorials that'll help you through this week's assignment, and then they have a bunch of source images. Like, look at all these horrible faces I'm making, and then there's awkward faces you're making.
And there are a lot of them.
Sad
Wow.
faces that Brendan's making.
Deep thoughts.
Remember that episode, eating popcorn on the couch while the old web server was going in?
Guy.
Look at Brendan when he had
Chris
long
Gore.
hair
Chris
still.
Gore, handsome
Chris
man.
Gore.
Chris Gore,
This is
Sean, baby.
amazing.
It's a whole toolkit. It's a one-stop shop for user created, and as a special bonus.
Yeah.
And I think it was Kat herself that sent this to my little MySpace on the message. Stuff on Kevin. There is a whole page dedicated to stuff on my Kevin Pereira, which I think is brilliant.
Oh, look at the kittens.
There's
okay,
kittens
I'm
on
sorry.
me.
Hold up.
Yes.
There are 4 incredibly cute kittens on you.
Hey, stuff on my Kevin Pereira.
Oh, I love
Packing
it. I love
peanuts.
it.
Can of soup.
Can of soup. Hey, like soup on my head from
She
yesterday.
keeps it.
Kat,
keeps
you're
it current.
amazing.
She's on fire. So
Kudos to you.
AOTSusercreated.com, and it'll teach you how to put the tattoo on and stuff like that.
I'm
so.
really impressed.
It's a good site.
I'm really impressed. Not that our other fan sites aren't good. This
No.
one just happens to be pretty good.
Right.
In a different way.
Totally.
Kevin, ready to be wowed?
Please.
I hold it in my hand. In fact, you should hold it in your hand because
Oh.
it's heavy and it's kind of beautiful.
Right.
This
And I'm
is
the one
the
with the
Canon
muscles.
EOS 5D. It's a digital SLR. How many megapixels do you think this puppy gives you?
Oh, it's got to at least be 3.2.
12.8. 12.8.
That's
my
a lot of
God.
megapixels.
And I mean, that's not the most megapixels you can get in the world, but it's really high up there.
See that?
12.8.
Hold on.
What's really you look
That's-
like a
no, it's
photographer.
good.
And you know, if you were to do that and you were taking a picture of something going by really fast,
Something in the Serengeti.
and somewhere in the Serengeti, a giraffe, a cheetah, or something.
flamingo.
Something that goes equally fast. I don't think the flamingos.
Just roll with it.
Yeah, okay.
A flamingo's
So-
galloping by in the Serengeti, and I'm there.
And you're there, and you hold down the shutter. It'll take 3 frames per second for
Really?
60 consecutive frames. So that's like what, 180 pictures, like that. And that's in JPEG mode. If it was in RAW mode, it would do 17 consecutive frames. And in RAW mode, we're talking
Well,
like
that's gigantic
a huge,
images.
big, like 12 megabyte file there.
Not
It's
bad.
crazy. The battery life, it says approximately 800 shots.
Yeah, give or take.
And what's funny about it, it says in room temperature.
Oh,
And so I was going like, well, what does that mean?
So if
I
you're in the
guess-
Arctic with it, you'll probably get longer
when
battery.
the temperature goes down, the batteries don't last as long.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
longer. Don't you put batteries in the fridge to... Oh,
No,
I don't know how that works.
just
I'm not.
Just go
I'm
with
not
me.
smart.
Just go with me. The price, drum roll, please.
With this?
No,
Okay,
actually,
yeah, what is it?
just drum roll in your head. $3,300, not including our lens here.
Oh, the lens is probably
So-
like, what, another grand or two?
This particular lens is a professional level lens. This
course
is
it is.
$1,500. They don't necessarily need to be that much, but the body itself is Canon. You like that,
I had to be
don't
there.
you?
I feel like a photographer.
You are, and you are.
Look, it's a flamingo in the Serengeti.
I have a shanty.
Oh, God. Oh, Brandon.
With a camera like this, you would feel like a pro.
It's sweet.
It's a lot of money, but it's
not
really,
prosumer. It's
really
a level
beautiful.
above that. It's kind of like amateur pro.
It's
Well,
yeah.
it's like-
I mean,
it's
they
like
don't call
a-
it. Canon actually has a more professional model,
Right.
but this is the sort of thing that will get you the chicks.
Done.
So
And that's what
as
we
pro,
need.
That's as pro as you need to be.
I find I have a hidden talent, Sarah, and that's what gets me the chicks. You curious what this hidden talent might be, Miss Lang?
Depends.
Yeah.
Okay.
We won't need to
I'll
pixel blur
play.
anything. There won't be a black box, I promise.
It's not hidden like.
No,
Okay, right.
not at all. And the sad thing, you wouldn't have to blur it anyways. But nevertheless,
Oh.
I can tell the difference, and Brendan can attest to this, between a homeless man and Jesus. I have the ability. I was born with it.
That is.
It runs in my blood.
That's quite a claim.
The Pereiras
Kevin.
have it's in our heritage.
All right,
it's
all right.
where it is. And thankfully now there is a flash game at liquidgeneration.com that really points out this.
Because I think it's worth mentioning that we've all been confused at one point or another.
How many times?
Because
You've prayed to a false god that just wanted some change.
Yeah, and he's hey, I'm not
Yeah.
him, man.
Oh, you want a 40?
I want your hot
Apparently,
dog.
You're not my savior.
And it's-
you
and
just
it's
want to
sad.
get drunk. You're
Yeah.
a dude on 3rd Street Promenade. Relax. I know the difference. Here it is.
Okay.
The game is
Okay, that's
Jesus
fine, that's
or
fine.
homeless. So here you get a shot of a beard. What is it, Sarah? Jesus or homeless?
I'm gonna go with homeless.
I am too. Look at that. We're right.
We're
Brendan,
right.
you want in
We're
on the next
right.
one? Look at Brendan wants in
I
on
will
this.
see both of you in hell.
Brendan, come on. I hope they make a
way.
home
There,
game of
buddy.
this. I hope they make a home game of
God's
this.
watching us.
Brendan.
You must be crazy.
Brendan,
I think-
Jesus or homeless?
I think God has a sense of humor.
Jesus or homeless?
That's Jesus.
That is. I'm going to guess homeless, but we'll guess Jesus because
That's Brendan's.
You're wrong.
Brendan's
See?
wrong. Oh, that was so not
He's
Jesus.
out. It was
that was
so-
more of a Saddam Hussein kind
Sorry,
of.
definitely
sorry,
was. Like he was in a
Jesus.
spider
My
hole. All
fault.
right, one more.
I'm gonna go with Jesus. This
I'm gonna go
looks
with
like
Jesus
an
as well.
angelic sort of a guy. He's
Like the
wearing
white, very clean.
Yeah,
It's not stained with blood or urine.
And we
It
are
is
right.
Jesus.
It was Jesus.
Homeless or Jesus,
We're on a
the Flash
roll.
game.
Woo!
But he has a chamois. He
Another
has a
game
chamois.
I'm good at.
You're so good.
Wow.
It's no Guitar Hero.
That was fun, Kevin.
Today
Thank you.
on the show, Sarah,
Yes, Kevin?
our guest is Jeff Dowd, the real-life inspiration for Jeff Bridges' character in The Big Lebowski. The dude? He's here. He's taking your calls, too. That's right. You can call in. Seriously, ask about white Russians or ferrets or marijuana laws, whatever.
Anything.
Anything at all. Jesus or homeless people. He's open. The number is 800-839-7880.
And you can also email us through our web forum at attackoftheshow.com/ask us. And you can chat with us in our IRC chat room too. Just go to chat.g4tv.com. And today, if you call in and we take your call, you will receive either a copy of the brand new Big Lebowski Special Edition DVD or Legend of Zelda, the animated series. I guess we'll choose which one you get.
I was like, hey, sorry, two dudes who didn't get the autographed
Maybe you'll
copy
get
of
both. I don't know.
Lebowski.
We haven't decided yet. But when we come back, Jeff Dowd will be here. Market 8, dude.
For real.
Now, I'm going to assume you've all seen The Big Lebowski. But in case you're still in the dark about who the dude is, let's get it straight once and for all.
Every time a rug is micturated upon in this fair city, I have to compensate the person.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to scam anybody here. I'm just,
You're just looking for a handout like every other. Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know?
The dude, however, was actually based on a real guy named Jeff Dowd. And why would we point that out? Well, because he's sitting next to me on this couch. The dude.
How you doing? Good
Welcome
to see
to
you.
the show.
Been seeing you since 2 in the morning at the Lebowski Festival.
That's right. You had a white Russian and your arm draped over me, and I was trying to conduct a professional interview, but I don't know if it went off like
There was a beverage involved.
Yeah. So now, tell me about how this all started. How do you get a movie character based on your...
Well, I met actually through Robert Redford, and introduced me to an investor of Joel and Ethan Coen's first movie, Blood Simple. And pretty soon after that, they showed up on my doorstep and showed me the movie, and I helped them with the marketing and distribution. And
So you're a pretty well-connected guy. Robert Redford did the introduction?
just happened to be sitting on his lawn.
Not bad.
No, just like, it was the first year of Sundance, actually.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it all came about.
How did you make sure that Jeff Bridges got the character right? Did you do anything with that? Did you say, maybe you're not getting the accent together, or was it
Well,
his
I mean, the
take
body
on-
language. I mean, I think you got it. If hand me the White Russian, and the body language is all me. The rest is, Joel and Ethan, who are brilliant writers. And it's all, it's their script.
Right.
It's what they thought I might have been like in the '70s for a while, kind of after we were political activists, but before we went back to work, and indeed we were drinking White Russians, somewhere between tequila sunrises and Harvey Wallbangers, and kind of slacking off for a while. Then we went back to work and like everybody else, but we were hanging heavy.
So in the '70s, you were a political activist that had a
60s and
predilection
70s.
for White Russians.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's cool.
and other things.
I'm going to say it was probably on the left of things, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let's talk about the movie itself. Popular movie, but it's more of a cult hit. You know what I mean?
Well, the cult's kind of grown rather big at this point. I mean, it's shocking who's into it. Anybody on any sports team, I hear from Iraqi veterans all the time that, that's what they're always watching it over in Iraq.
Yeah.
People, any rock band.
Why do you think that is? I mean,
Well, it's because, it's a movie that you're guaranteed to have a lot of fun watching with your friends. It's almost like an album. You have certain albums where they have like 1 or 2 good songs on them.
Right.
This one, there's 15 or 20 classic scenes that stand onto their own. I mean, if you think of the scene with Jesus, what a classic. Or, the Jackie Treehorn scene, or the flying, around scene, or a scene with Maude, or the
Right.
Walter, I can get you a toe scene. So it's I met a family at one of these Lebowski festivals, 3 generations of Latinos, the grandkids, the parents, and the grandparents. They watched the movie at Christmas time instead of It's a Wonderful Life. I think that's heretical. I mean, go figure. But
That's
but they
awesome.
know they're going to have fun doing it.
yeah. We met at the Lebowski Fest in L.A., and there's another one coming up in New York, right? Explain
this
to me
weekend.
or explain to the people watching.
Look, I was very, leery about the whole thing the first time. I mean, not nothing against the guys with the Star Trek stuff earlier, but my reference point was the famous Saturday Night Live, William Shatner thing.
Right.
He goes to the Trekkie convention.
You ever kissed a girl?
Get a life, And I thought, okay, there's going to be a bunch of weird weirdos there, geeks and everything. But it turns out the people who go are hip enough, like yourself, to appreciate, Joel and Ethan's sense of humor and their irony. And it's absolutely hilarious. The first night they do it at a club always, and bands play. Jeff Bridges' band actually played in L.A. And the second night they do it at a bowling alley, and people dress up. Not everybody, but some people, about a third of the people dress up, not just as Jesus and Maud and Dude and Donnie and, and Walter, but they dress up as lines from the movie.
Yeah.
So there'll be a guy in army fatigues and mud on his face, and I go, "What are you?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, I'm the guy who died face down in the muck in Nam."
They have
it's
weird
classic.
characters that aren't even in the films.
Yeah, no, it's so it's really, if you like to party, you like to go places with your friends, it's really a fun event. It's fantastic.
Now there's of course the new DVD, the Achievers edition out. Have you seen it? What do you think?
I've seen it. It's look, a lot of people have, just like an old album or a CD, a lot of people probably worn through their Big Lebowski, DVD,
Right,
particularly, spilling various beverages on it and who knows what else.
Vodka.
So it's, it's almost time to get a new one.
Right.
But and this one actually has a nice bowling ball cloth there to wipe your DVD
a
off.
chamois and some coasters as well.
Got some
I noticed.
coasters.
Very
and
nice.
It's got Joel and Ethan talking about the movie, and there's some pictures. Jeff Bridges, who takes these kind of 360-degree pictures on every movie, stills, has a bunch of his pictures in it. It's cool.
Now you're a movie producer, but you're also an author.
Well, I'm almost done with my book, The Dude Abides, which is it's basically a lot of classic tales that we've been telling for years. I happen to be in the right place at the right time, around a lot of people who changed a little bit of cultural history or political history, whether it's being 17 years old with the Living Theater and the Rolling Stones in Europe, or last year with Neil Young, who's, by the way, new album, Prairie Wind, if you haven't heard it, is, great.
Yeah.
I was in Nashville when Jonathan Demme was shooting the film with Neil about a month ago. And so, but it's a lot of stories about people and their friends getting together and saying, wait a second, we don't want to die of terminal boredom. Maybe we can change a little bit of the world here. And that's, maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And so it'll be, I'm going to be touring colleges with it next spring, doing readings, and then it'll come out in the fall.
Cool. You want to stick around, take some calls a little bit later?
Absolutely.
All right.
Dude Abides, why not?
Let's do it. Visit jeffdowd.com to learn more on Jeff and pick up the Big Lebowski Achievers Edition out today. Now postpone that trip to Ralph's because we have DV Tuesday coming up next, and it rewards promptness.
If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, you become something else entirely. DV Tuesday. Chris Gore is with us again. Welcome back, Chris.
I'm here on Batman Day.
Yeah.
And dressed appropriately in blue.
Yeah, well,
blue, kind of blue-black.
You're kind of cash. I do like your belt. I don't know if the folks at home
thanks.
can see that. There's a lightning bolt in your pants.
Well, I'm glad you're looking there. That's good.
Yeah, man, that's odd. Okay, so let's just get into the DVDs before I dig myself into a deeper hole.
Yes.
Batman Begins Deluxe Edition.
Okay, now I'm glad they call this Deluxe Edition because I'm not exactly sure you could call this a Special Edition. Reason is it's 2 discs. The first
How do we
disc,
discern between Deluxe and Special?
Well, see, on the first disc you've got the movie, no commentary at all. Then you've got this parody that aired on the MTV Movie Awards called Tank Man.
Okay.
It's actually pretty funny. The theatrical trailer, that's it. The second disc is just a list of featurettes, like stuff like about the new Batmobile, the Tumbler, how Christian Bale actually got into shape for the film.
And he was in quite good shape.
Yeah, no, he looked good. I mean, he played a great Bruce Wayne. And this is, to me, this is the definitive Batman movie. This is where we actually get to see his origin story played out.
Sure. So a lot of people agree that it was one of the better ones.
It definitely was. Well, I think it's the best one because it really goes into his story. You see the film through his eyes, not the celebrity villain of the week or whatever. And also the fact that they brought in a lot from the comic books. I think it's very influenced by The Dark Knight and the old Batman that was was drawn by Neil Adams, you know, back in the 60s. I'm a geek, I know this stuff. But the one thing, the big disappointment about this disc, I hate to say this.
And I hate to hear it, Chris.
I know, I hate to say there's a disappointment on this double disc Batman set is the menus.
Ah, the menus. And we've actually got the menus up here on our monitor here.
Right,
What do you not like about them, Chris?
Well, the thing is this would be great if it were a website. So you've got these comic book panels, you know, kind of telling the story of a Scarecrow and Batman conflict. But the thing is, it doesn't exactly say where the content is. So say, for example, you can go over to where it says utility belt, and that's kind of a that's like an Easter egg. So you click on utility belt, you get a little definition or cape.
But it's not quite right when you're on your couch with a remote and
you're sitting there with the remote,
what
and
is this?
it's impossible to really find out exactly where the content is. So I found it incredibly frustrating. The menus just drove me nuts.
Besides the menus, pass, rent, or buy, Chris?
Here's the worst thing. I'm going to complain about the menus on this disc, and I'm going to complain that there's no commentary, but it's a buy. Because
it's still a buy.
The movie is so good, and the transfer, it just looks phenomenal. So it's still a buy.
All right,
in spite of the flaws.
Buy it is. Moving on now to The Legend of Zelda, the complete animated series.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, if you're nostalgic, feeling nostalgic, and you want to see
Link fan.
The Adventures of Link, I prefer Drunk Link myself, but Link saving Zelda every show, I guess you would be entertained by this. The funniest part, though, is this opening for this live-action Super Mario show.
Yeah, I was going to say this isn't an animated series.
Every time. Well, yeah, this is actually a little extra that's on the DVD, and I got to say, the funny thing is, I can't stop thinking of Ron Jeremy when I see Mario looking like that. But the cartoon
Thanks for ruining it.
Yeah, I know, I completely. But the cartoon is forgettable and really a complete waste of time unless you want to relive those memories, and you'll see that you had no taste as a kid.
Sure, I mean that's Saturday afternoon, and you know we kind of stopped doing that. Some of us did anyway.
Yeah.
Pass, rent?
That's a pass. It's a pass on that. Your life's complete.
Okay. I feel like I'm starting to read you now. I'm like, I know it's going to be a pass, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
You know me. You know me well.
Finally, Land of the Dead.
This is George A. Romero's Land of the Dead. Of course, it's the fourth in the quadrilogy of the Dead films. And this one is actually an unrated edition. There's extra scenes in this. In fact, tons of extra gore. I mean, the stuff where they're ripping people apart and intestines are being chewed up and eaten. A bunch of extra scenes, including one where John Leguizamo finds a guy in this complex who's committed suicide by hanging himself, then he turns into a zombie. Lots of great extras on it. Commentary by George Romero where he talks about exploring an idea with reincarnated zombie rats. That never actually got into the film, but he might explore in a future Dead film.
Hey, you know, Land of the Dead, maybe we'll have Planet of the Dead next, where, you know, the zombie rats will take us over.
Absolutely. So he talks about all this stuff on the commentary, and it's just, you know, I'm just a big George Romero fan, and just, you know.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
George Romero has lots of fans, legions of fans.
Yeah.
So what's the bottom line on this guy?
Well, it's the thing is, I didn't love the movie when I first saw it in the theater, but this cut is a better cut of the film.
Okay.
Having more of the
And that's what we want from DVDs.
Yeah, so this unrated edition is, with all the extras, it's a buy.
Okay.
It's a buy.
All right. It's a buy. Chris, before we go, I know you always, you know, cleverly put something
couple extra things back here.
Behind the scenes.
Got, you know, if you want to see the good zombie stuff, right here, I don't know which, okay, you've got The Dead Next Door, J.R. Bookwalter, good humorous zombie film, Dead and Breakfast. If you love blood and guts, this one's for you. And this is a non-recommendation. Day of the Dead 2, Contagium, has nothing to do with George Romero. It's almost like a fan film. It's bad.
So you're not recommending it?
Yeah, I'm not recommending that one. I'm saying here's a couple good zombie movies. Don't get tricked into buying that one.
All right, keep it straight, everybody. Thank you, Chris.
Excellent.
As always, a pleasure on DVD Tuesday. Couldn't do it without you, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Some of our lucky callers and chatters will receive one of the Zelda animated DVDs that we showed you. So visit filmthreat.com or chrisgore.com. You can take it. Don't know if you can, but I'm gonna root for you. Now, if we're forced to come back, you're forced to come back. That's just how it works. The feed may or not be up next. Hasn't really decided, but we do know that Zombie Daddy George Romero will be popping up to explain the culinary allure of fresh brains.
Hey, welcome back to the show. When last you left us, we were talking about how zombie movie director George Romero was going to be on the show, and, well, see? Nothing's changed. But what we didn't mention was that It Came From eBay is coming up as well, and guess what it is? It is. But first, we haven't been sued yet. No. So here's more feed.
That incorrigible scamp Jack Thompson recently offered $10,000 to anybody who could design a game in which, get this, the father of a kid murdered because of violent games goes on a violent rampage himself. If Jack had delivered this message through a crudely made sock puppet, he couldn't have come across any crazier. But it's actually getting worse. Several indie game designers responded to the call and insisted that Jack pay up. When he refused, the guys at Penny Arcade ponied up the 10 grand themselves and then donated it to a charity in Jack's name. Now, GamePolitics.com is reporting that Thompson has called the Seattle Police Department, claiming that Penny Arcade is, quote, criminally harassing him. The police assured Thompson they'd look into it, hung up the phone, and amused themselves for hours with their new Jack Thompson impression. Now, somebody's been trying to cash in on the bird flu epidemic that will, if mainstream media is to be believed, wipe us all out by, like, lunchtime tomorrow. And they've been slapped down by eBay. eBay UK took down an auction for a vial of Tamiflu. That's a prescription drug used to fight off the disease, saying that the sale of such items is not allowed under the company rules. The auction had reached about $174 before it was pulled. Prescription drug pushers will now have to resort to more classic means of peddling their wares. Look for a lot of auctions for hollowed-out Virgin Mary statues on eBay in the coming weeks. Now, do you remember Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home? That was the one where the crew of the Enterprise collectively jumped the shark, or rather, the whale. Well, part of that movie is now a reality. No, not phasers, no, not teleportation, transparent aluminum, people. It was that stuff that Scotty was looking for to build the whale containers. Sorry. Anyway, engineers at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio are experimenting with a type of transparent armor, which could one day be used to make windshields that can stop armor-piercing bullets. Or, since they seem to be listening to the geek community, the armor could make invisible jets! Breaking out my golden lasso the minute that happens. Nintendo is partnering with none other than McDonald's in what can only be described as a full-force assault on the children of America. You can fight if you want, but it only makes victory taste that much sweeter. McDonald's stores that offer Wi-Fi will now allow Nintendo DS users to patch in and play online for free. Right now, 6,000 McDonald's stores in the U.S. already offer Wi-Fi, courtesy of a service called Wayport. And experts are likening this move to the creation of a, quote, wireless Starbucks hotspot for kids. So kids can sit in booths absorbed in DS games, shoving junk food into their mouths. Man, this is going to be like a nerd conveyor belt, churning out hordes of socially awkward fat kids by the minute. Quick, buy stock in acne medicine and comic book shops. And that's the feed. I mean, eat your roughage at least, and then do what you want.
Excellent feed, eating roughage, sage advice by Sarah Lane. But now, it's time for you, Jeff, to give some sage advice to our callers, or at least answer some questions.
We'll give it a shot.
Great, thank you so much for hanging out. We have first up here, Michael, on the phone from Breckenridge. Are you there, Michael?
Yeah, how's it going?
Going very well. You have a question for Jeff?
Yeah, I was just wondering, in the movie, if you had any say in who played your character, or any control over any of that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, actually, when Joel and Ethan called me up, they said, dude, we're doing a movie, and Jeff Bridges and John Goodman. I went, uh-oh. Because I'm kind of on the cusp, and I thought it could be Goodman or
sure,
it could be Bridges.
Go either way.
It could go either way. And if you know it the Goodman way, I would be like rather buffoonish and whatever. Not that he's not a great actor.
Sure.
But they said, dude, don't worry, it's going to be Jeff Bridges. So.
And you were fine with that? You didn't?
Absolutely.
If it could have been anybody else in the world, did you ever think of
having
given two thoughts? Not a Johnny Depp or a Brad Pitt or?
I don't think it would.
All right.
I don't think they've got the range.
I was trying to help you. I was going
great guys, but no one both.
You'd probably get a Chris Gore, and that's not.
Well, it's very charitable, you guys. I mean, Chris was homeless just weeks ago. I saw him down to the thing. If you guys could give him a job again, it's kind of like the. Actor's Home or something like that.
Well, we photoshopped him and then we airbrushed him up and got him out on set a couple weeks back. So he's good. He's a good guy. Sure. We have time for one more question. Brian joins us on the phone. Hey there, Brian.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing very well. Yourself?
Good, good. Hey, I just had a question now. How accurate is this movie to your real life?
Well, I mean, I think they got the physicality like 110%. But yes, I was in SDS and I was part of the Seattle 7. And, we did drink White Russians and all that. I was not a roadie for Metallica, although ironically I ended up helping them on their movie last year. Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, which is a great movie. But it's more Joel and Ethan writing kind of a Raymond Chandler in L.A. story on, and then dosing it on acid than anybody's life in particular, because they're very imaginative guys.
Sure. Now, I'm just out of curiosity, what did you do for the Metallica film? Did you help write the depressing lyrics, or?
No, I helped market the film, get the distribution deal, and was up there at Sundance with it. And
so you weren't holding Lars's hair or anything like that?
No, but I did have a phenomenal night one night with Lars, Sean Penn, Stevie O, and Johnny Knoxville in New York City, but I don't think we can talk about it on this show.
We probably shouldn't, but we can during the commercial break.
It was classic.
Jeff, thanks again for coming on.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for that Canon camera. It was really nice of you guys to give it to me in my gift bag. I'll take it to Lebowski Festival. And
enjoy it. Snap 17 frames a second in RAW mode.
I'll send you back some pictures.
I'm not responsible for what happens to you once you leave the living room. Stay put. That goes for you too, Jeff. And together we'll figure out what makes a toy a collectible. A hint? No toys cost $2,000. Are you a big geek? Sorry. Let me actually qualify that. Are you a big geek who's gainfully employed? Yeah, I know. All the hands went down. Then step right up to Sideshow Collectibles. These guys make high-quality busts, statues, prop replicas, you name it, everything from your favorite movie and TV shows. And they ain't cheap. But walking us through it all today are Scott Clowder and Heath Hammond. Well, guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
First of all, very much. Tell me about Sideshow, as a company. When did you guys get started? And when it first came about, was there a market for this, or were you hoping that you would create one?
It first started with the garage kit industry, with making vinyl kits, and that was kind of a small industry, but it started getting into with license deal with Universal Monsters, making little bobbleheads and then 8-inch action figures, and it just steadily grew from there. So that was our way in, and it just would kind of surprise us how it grew.
Right. Well, now we're at the point where you've got the one-by-one figures here like Darth Maul. Tell me about this guy. This is just one of the many types of figures that you guys offer, right?
Correct. That's a one-to-one likeness bust where it's exactly like the actor. Or
got a tiny little head. I'm kind of surprised. Like a grapefruit.
Didn't think Ray Park was that small.
I can take him. I was convinced I could whoop Darth Maul's ass now. What's up? Now, is this all laser scan? Because I know that's how the hip kids are doing it, right? They sit someone down in a laser, and then they lose all the intricacies. Because I'm up here, and I feel like there's sweat coming out of every little pore that I see here.
No, that's a traditional sculpt. We do not use a laser scan. We do everything by physical sculpting.
Just little toothpick and chisel and going at it?
Different tools to get the different textures. Clay.
That's incredible. All right, so let's move on down here. This was a one-by-one. What size is this figure in here? What are we working with?
That's a diorama. So.
That's one of our, actually it's a second in a series of Marvel dioramas. It's like any kind of diorama is something with one or more characters in it.
Right.
So we have Colossus and Cyclops here just after they got done demolishing one of the Sentinels.
Very nice. As I did in the arcade game many times.
See, there you go.
And now, how is something like this actually put together? Because this feels like a little bit of a different material.
Same thing. It's originally it'll be sculpted, and then when it goes through the process and from our manufacturers, it comes out as a polystone.
Now that's
a mixture.
Sounds like a fancy term. What is that? What is a polystone?
It's like a mixture between porcelain and resin. So it's a little bit more durable. It doesn't shatter if damaged. Not that you want to damage something.
Sure. But if you want to drop it on a cat or a small child, it's going to break in chunks so you can glue it back together.
Right. Exactly.
I like that.
You'll keep
I came into the studio and I saw all this stuff out here, and I'm blown away, just like I was when I saw you guys at Comic-Con. I know everybody's jaw drops, but one of the things that I think is fantastic about this is that there's more to it. In fact, it's got extra features. It's like a special, what's the deal with this? I know it's a limited run, but this is even more limited, right? The fact that it lights up.
This is an example of one of our special editions, an exclusive item that if you shop at SideshowCollectibles.com, that you can actually get one of our exclusive pieces, which this happens to be. A regular run wouldn't have the electronics in it. The electronics would only be found in the exclusive that you go to SideshowCollectibles.com.
And you'd have to grab that online.
And you would have to grab that on our website,
Wow, that's incredible. All right, and it's all about licenses with you guys. And this is kind of a big license. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is a character from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how do you snag something like this? And what's the process with dealing with a license like this big and this incredible?
It can be fun and difficult at the same time. Dealing with a quarter scale premium format, which is about 18 inches, which is different than the 6 scale 12-inch figure. It's multimedia where, once again, we're dealing with polystone, but we're also dealing with cloth and leather and sometimes metal pieces or different types of plastic.
So you'll have even custom clothing created for all these characters.
Absolutely.
Tailored to the figure itself.
Tailored, which is a little different. Like with clothing being fitted to you, we have to fit it to the pose of the figure, which it just can't be a regular. Just you have to tweak it in certain ways so you still have that pose, that whole silhouette.
That's incredible. And now, do they say, or do they have like, are they meticulous with their changes? Do they say a little more dust in the hair or a little less gloss on the lips, or?
You know, all licensors want to protect their IP, so yeah,
they're absolutely. I mean, one of the excuses that we've gotten is not to toot our own horn or anything, but
beep away. Let's hear it. Go for it.
That they expect us to do better, so therefore we try and be meticulous as possible, and they are the same way with us. So it's like we're a constant challenge from the licensors, and then afterwards it's another constant challenge with the fans to make sure we got it right.
And I can only imagine that there's a huge aftermarket for stuff like this with such limited runs, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you finding this stuff on eBay or?
We've had the Balrog that we did for Lord of the Rings, the statue.
That was
retail for $300 and
what it sell for? Give me a ballpark.
$3,500.
All right. So get it when you can. Pre-order.
Get your hands on it when you can.
Absolutely.
Guys, I'm sorry we're all out of time, but thank you so much for coming on. It's incredible stuff.
Thank you very much. We enjoyed it.
Some of the best collectibles ever, and I know we're all going to enjoy putting this in my car now. Thanks for bringing them down. For more info on Sideshow Collectibles, check out the links in our show notes now while I attempt to cram a Darth Maul into my pants. You prepare yourself for a horror double whammy. It came from eBay, and a sit down with zombie maven George Romero. Stick around. On the next attack of the show, we muster up the courage to stand before the shadow of the Colossus. Show us your ink. Oh, wait, not right now. Wait until tomorrow when we showcase your user createds. And finally, if you like blogs but wish there were more pictures, then head on over to drawn.com. That's what we're doing. On the next attack of the show here, before you know it. If it's ever been investigated by the BPRD, then chances are it came from eBay! I could have just screamed it at you.
It's so loud.
I know, but I didn't scream it. I projected it. Let's get to the auctions. Boom. First off, name my planner's wart. This is incredible, Brendan. This planner's wart has been around for... I hear people in the back going like, oh, are you serious? Been around for 12 years. Oh. It doesn't have a name yet, though. And that's what you get to do if you win this auction. Let me show you more images. Try not to vomit as I scroll here. Hold on. There they are. There's our bad boy. No?
It's a series of warts more
What would you name her? What would you give her a name? Go ahead.
Charlize.
Charlize is good. Oh, Charlize?
Charlize.
You look through a baby naming book.
Paris.
Pick one out, win the auction. Paris is good, too.
Nicole, one of the two.
Boom, moving on. Britney Spears encrusted bra on my encrusted toast. You get it? Because the toast has crust, but so does the bras that Britney tends to wear.
Those are tiny little diamonds.
They are.
How do they do that?
They're mined like gems of the internet. They just paste them right on the toast, a little jam, put some butter in between it. You know what I'm saying?
I saw a picture today in one of the blog sites. Britney post baby was looking a little maybe how do we say
what?
Big. In the breast area.
Oh, yeah. Moving on before I say something that's going to get me fired. 36 pieces of growing women. Man, you can grow your own date. It's 0 bids, going for $20. But, you drop her in water, she will grow 600% larger.
Really?
Just like Britney. It's there. You could, grab a bucket, fill it with water, grow your own orgy. Throw them all in.
Can you have sex with that?
You totally could.
Awesome.
You pour it out.
Yeah.
Our audience is, they're thinkers. They'll figure out a way. There you have it. Always expect the unexpected when it came from eBay. That was good.
Thank you.
See how you want to yell it?
Yeah.
Now, he's the man responsible for unleashing flesh-eating zombies on the movie-going public, and his latest gore-fest, Land of the Dead, is now out on DVD. Joining us live via satellite is director George Romero. Welcome to the show, Mr. Romero.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Now, we talked to you back in June when Land of the Dead was out in theaters. Now it's out on DVD. What can we expect from the DVD? Do we have extra scenes? Is it longer? Director's cut?
Land of the Dead on the DVD is only about 5 minutes longer.
Okay.
And half of that are scripted scenes that we basically chose to cut from the theatrical version. Now, of course, there's a little more blood, as people will expect, but not gallons. And some of the scenes that were in the original theatrical version, which we masked with foreground zombies on a green screen, we were able to take that foreground off so it's more visible now. And there are a few scenes that we shot that you just can't, you know, there was no way that we even tried to show them to the MPAA because we knew they would just get, you know, NC-17 like right away.
Well, that's a nice thing about the DVD.
It's great, but I tell you, the best thing about this DVD, John Leguizamo, who I love, played Cholo in the film, shot his own little film while we were shooting. The cats from Shaun of the Dead, Simon and Edgar, shot their own little movie while we were shooting, and I tell you that those are the most, that's the most fun, because these guys were, this is better than a commentary track, because these guys were there, and they were involved in the picture, and they were shooting their little movies and their sort of view of all of this while we were shooting, and it was fabulous.
And that's the great thing about DVDs, you have so much extra. Let's talk a little bit about the zombies themselves. In Land of the Dead, the zombies have evolved. They're shooting guns. They can walk through water. They're kind of smart zombies at this point. Where do we go from here?
Well, I don't know. They walk underwater because they're dead and they don't need air.
Sure.
I thought when Pirates of the Caribbean came out that I'd have to cut that scene, but the studio said, no, don't cut it. So it's still there. Now, as far as them shooting guns, in Day of the Dead, the last zombie film that I made, I think Bub, in a way, was smarter than Big Daddy in this film. He almost spoke words, and he fired a gun, he killed the villain in Day of the Dead. So I don't think that it has advanced that much. What I'm trying to do is sort of develop the zombie society.
Sure.
I think what happened here, Bob was basically doing imitative behavior to imitate the scientist. You know, the scientist showed him how to push the button on the music player, and so Bob did it, and he heard the music and quelled.
Well, so zombies have, they've certainly evolved from 1968 anyway.
Yeah, from 1968 they certainly have. Then they were just the neighbors.
Mr. Romero, I have to ask, you've been dealing with zombies for some time now. Are you sick of talking about them? Be honest.
Be honest, yes, I'm sick of talking about them. I'm not sick of shooting movies about them. I'm sick of talking about them. I mean, you want me to be totally honest?
I do.
This is the stuff. We finished this movie in May. What is it now? Mid-October, and I'm still talking about them.
You're still talking about Land of the Dead. Well, that's the deal with DVDs. They come out, you got to talk about it again. But it's so great to have you on the show once again. We love your zombie movies, and thanks so much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Land of the Dead is in stores today, so shamble over to the store and get yourself one. Now, normally I'd say something like, stick around, we've got this or that on the way, but this time, you're just gonna have to trust me. More fun coming up next.
Seen enough too.
Tonight, right here on G4, Barbed Wire Biscuit continues its reign of terror with a new episode of Cinematheque, Nocturnal Emissions at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific. Kevin, stop laughing. If you've been a loyal fan of Cinematheque but crave something edgier, something stranger, something naughtier, then check out Nocturnal Emissions. It's okay, they're just sheets.
Oh my God,
they can be washed. So tune in at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Sarah, just give a seal of approval to everything.
Just wash them on hot.
Oh, God.
Everything dies.
Let's see what's going on. Oh, man. IRC chat room.
What?
Questions.
Okay.
Ask them.
Moving on. Dangan wants to know, for those people who haven't
Wait, do you want to stay on the topic of washing sheets after a nocturnal emission? Let's do it.
No, I feel like you can't get past it.
I can't. Let's go. Question.
Right. For those people who haven't seen The Big Lebowski yet, what would you say is the biggest reason to see it? Okay. Well, there's a lot.
Number one, the lines. There's all these ridiculous, hilarious lines that if you haven't seen it,
it's a quotable movie.
And people at work start talking about it.
It's a bumper sticker film.
It's one of these things where you sit around and the guys you work with just start quoting Lebowski lines, and you need to be able to have seen it just to be cool, frankly.
If you want to fit in with the guys and get one of them.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's your favorite line, Kevin?
Ooh, don't.
I know. There's so many.
It's going to be censored.
There's so many.
It's going to be censored.
The Master wants to know, do the hosts think that Shadow of Colossus will be the Zelda killer? Some people are naming it.
Ooh, I played it last night.
Could anything be the Zelda killer, Kevin?
Sure. I mean, it's a tough game to beat, but you know the Eco team can do it. Anyway, I played it last night. I only got through the first 3 Colossi. So far, awesome. That's it. The attack is over.
Colossi. Thanks to our guests, Jeff Dowd, Chris Gore, Heath Hammond, Scott Clowder, and George Romero. Goodbye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Ad lib.
Computers on Attack of the Show provided by Intel. Game on. Power up. Take control with the Intel Pentium Processor Extreme Edition.